and welcome to the Stateside Soccer Show. My name is Jordan. With me, as always, is Logan. How are you today, Logan?
I am fantastic, Jordan. Living the dream every single day that I get to do this with you. So,
Oh, that's very sweet sentiment.
yeah. Well, sometimes you got to be nice.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
All right, let me not do the intro I was planning then.
Oh,
Just
wow.
kidding.
Dang.
Just kidding.
Let's see how it is. No. Go ahead.
No, it's been a bit, though. It's been a bit. Last week, I sprained my ankle and had to go to the urgent care and all that kind of BS and get x-rays done, make sure I didn't break it, all that good stuff. Which, let me know your thoughts. My doctor said, I got them to clarify today, not a break. It did chip off a piece of bone. And my wife was saying, that means you've broken a bone in your body now. And I asked the doctor, they said, the bone is still intact. It was just a little chip. You did not break a bone. So I'm going with that. I still haven't broken a bone in my body at the age of 34. So
I don't know, man.
No, the doctor said it. I'm in the clear.
What do the doctors know? I'm just kidding.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, says the guy that works at the hospital. No. Yeah. Jordan, I'll agree with you. I think you got to fully break one, right? Like,
yeah.
I've chipped a bone in my elbow, and I don't say I broke a bone. I just chipped that growth plate. Like,
right. Exactly.
You know?
Because
if you go, I broke my ankle, I'm like, oh man, and then you're back on it, people are like, you break your ankle, like
I know, and that's what I was thinking. Like I showed up at work on Monday with like no boot on, no limp. They're gonna be like, dude was faking if I said I broke it.
Dude went Messi on. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. And then I get the thing this weekend while the games are going on. It's like, look at these players who broke ankles this week, like the metaphorical breaking of ankles. And I was like, ouch, a little too close to home.
A little bit.
A little offensive.
Yeah. Did MLS call you and apologize?
No, they did not.
Well,
they did not.
They should. So.
We got 3 really big topics that we're going to hone in on this glorious Wednesday. And then we will kind of set it up for hopefully next week. I don't know. It might be almost every other week thing at this point, it feels like. But we're trying. But life has been happening. Okay. I want to get to let's start with the Leagues Cup format changes. And then we'll kind of go into the Messi All-Star situation. And then we'll get into the Thomas Müller situation. So the Leagues Cup format has a new format going forward. Look, this might change again next year. We have no clue. 36 clubs from both leagues, all 18 Liga MX teams and 18 qualifying MLS teams. The top 9 teams in each conference, and then they had to specify Eastern and Western, as in case you didn't know, who participated in the MLS Cup playoffs the prior season will qualify. Per MLS new North American Cup qualification criteria, MLS expansion club San Diego, set to debut this season, will take the place of Vancouver Whitecaps for Leagues Cup 2025. Then we have officially sanctioned by CONCACAF. The top 3 teams will automatically get bids to the Champions Cup with a chance to represent the Confederation at the Club World Cup, I guess, in 2029. It'll be played in 2 rounds. Phase 1 beginning July 29th, which was yesterday, and then the knockout rounds ending with the final on August 31st. The MLS and Liga MX regular seasons will continue play through the month of August, with most Leagues Cup knockout matches playing midweek. So the point system, no ties. Each team will receive 1 point if the game is tied after 90 minutes. The winner of the subsequent penalty shootout will earn an additional point. Regulation wins are still 3 points. The top 4 clubs with the most points from each league will move on to the knockout rounds right into the quarterfinals. So phase 1 will feature 3 consecutive match dates per club to be played July 29th through August 7th, and all 54 Phase 1 matches will be played between MLS and Liga MX clubs. Each of them divided evenly into 18 teams, 2 regions, East and West. So the point is, you cannot pretty much have an MLS versus MLS or Liga MX versus Liga MX in the Phase 1. In Phase 1, you cannot have that. Each club will play 3 matches against the 3 opponents from the opposite league, while competing on the field against teams from the opposite league. MLS and Liga MX teams will be competing in a league-specific table against teams from their own league. So if you want to it's confusing. There's no groups anymore. What you're doing is almost like the UEFA Champions League, but you're separate. You're going up against the other league when it comes to when it comes to okay, because you're divided into 2 regions, East and West, but you're not going to be going off of that. You're going to be deciding who moves on from each league, Liga MX and MLS.
Mm-hmm.
I know how I make sense in my head, but trying to explain it, I feel like I'm stumbling. So there you go. But you're playing against the other league in the actual field, but off the field, you are playing against your own league when it comes to getting out of the league table and into the next rounds.
Yeah.
If that makes
sense.
You
have a league specific table, but you're playing against the opposition.
Yes.
From the other league.
Thank you.
Okay. Gotcha. Thank you, CONCACAF. Of course you had to go make it weird.
Does CONCACAF do this, or is it? I would assume this is actually MLS and Liga MX.
Yeah, these are the 2 leagues that are figuring this out. But my goodness,
for the 3rd straight year figuring it out.
And they keep adding more windows of games and just I don't know. They've never they should have perfected Jordan. What they should perfect the Champions Cup. They should perfect a domestic cup, and then they should leave this alone. Like, this is just too much at this point. That's my opinion. Like, it's fun playing Liga MX, but
don't you want money? That's what they're saying. They're like,
no,
we want money though.
No, I want my players to be healthy, and I want these summer, like, that's the hard part about covering this league in the summer, Jordan, is that for 2 months it's just a scramble. It doesn't feel real. I mean, it feels like a fever dream because you've got half your players in other competitions. And
so we're building momentum towards a calendar shift too. I think they said like 27 owners are for it. I think that means it's a matter of time until that passes, right?
I think it'll be happening in 27. That's my guess.
Yeah, the year after the World Cup. Okay, the top 4 clubs from each league specific table advance to the knockout rounds and will be placed in a fixed bracket to compete in single game elimination matches with the quarterfinals. Okay. So we have Liga MX 1, the best team in Liga MX in the Leagues Cup, will face off against the 4th best MLS team. The 3rd best Liga MX team will face off against the 2nd best MLS team. The best team in MLS will go up against Liga MX 4, and Liga MX 2 will go up against MLS 3. And that order is how they're separated on the side. So Liga MX 1, 3, MLS 2, and 4 are on the left side of the bracket. MLS 1, 3, and Liga MX 2 and 4 are on the right side of the bracket. So if those MLS teams do their business, you could have 2 semifinals with MLS clubs, 2 semifinals with Liga MX, however they win. You can still have an all MLS semifinal. You can have an all MLS Cup, Leagues Cup final, depending on how they play. So not much has changed there. But yeah, I mean, look, it's still going to be on Apple. Nothing's changed there. The results have started already here. We have the standings, Phase 1 standings. it might be tough for teams like Columbus and LAFC who have drawn, going to the shootout and lost to get through, because now they only have 1 point instead of 2 or 3. But Montreal did go to a shootout. They won. They have 2 points. They're at the top of the MLS Phase 1 standing. Then you have Columbus with 1 point, LAFC with 1 point, and the rest of these have not played yet. Over on the Liga MX side, you have Tigres, Puebla, Pachuca, all have 3 points. And then, what is that? Toluca, and then Mazatlan have 2 points, and then Club Leon have 1 point. Teams that have 0 points that played matches in MLS are San Diego, Houston, and NYCFC. All right. Is that confusing? Are we?
Oh, 100%.
Should I ask, is that clear?
It that way.
Is that clear?
It's clear, but it's confusing.
Yeah, because Columbus drew with Toluca 2-2, but they lost on penalties 4-2. Montreal beat Club Leon on penalties 7-6 after a 1-1 draw. Puebla beat NYCFC 3-0. Tigres beat Houston 4-1. LAFC went 1-1 and then went to penalties where Mazatlan won 11-10. And then Pachuca beat San Diego 3-2. Tonight, we have Miami making their debut here against Atlas at 7:30. We also have Nakasa versus Atlanta at 7:30. Oh, and then your club, Orlando, will play tonight at 8 o'clock against Pumas.
Vamos.
We have Pumas. And then we have we have Minnesota versus Quattro at 8:30. We have Club America and RSL at 9:30. Portland ASL at 10:30. And then on the 31st, we have Monterrey versus Cincinnati, Charlotte versus Juarez, Chivas versus Red Bull, Rapids versus Santos Laguna, Cruz Azul versus Seattle, and LA Galaxy versus Tijuana. And then Friday we have games, but those are like the next set of games for like NYCFC, Club Leon, Columbus, all them. Yeah, I don't know. What's your vibe going into this Leagues Cup? Are you like watching with bated breath, or is this like, I kind of over it at this point?
I mean, it's a competition I'm not like thrilled about. Like I'm not going out of my way to watch the games. I don't think it's tough because it's the one that I felt had appeal, and I'll probably watch some obviously because we have to cover it. But I don't know. Like it's so difficult to keep up with different tournaments like this. Like it's just so different from what you see Premier League, Liga MX, like La Liga. Like everybody has their own thing where they kind of take these breaks. But MLS, man, like why are we obsessed with? And it's all calendar based. Like that's part of the issue. But it seems like we are just stuck in this perpetual, like 2 months, 3 months. Like I said, just teams not healthy. And then towards the end of the season, Jordan, these teams that play in these tournaments, I mean, they're not as competitive in the playoffs. So I don't know. I've just never been a big fan of adding more games across the globe, just because I think it takes away from the quality on the field at times. And I think that's a problem with every sport. I mean, I think we're getting to a point where, I mean, think about it. These academy kids, like this is all they do, live and breathe soccer. They're not playing other sports. They're not using other muscles. And this is why we've seen an uptick in injuries, I believe. The strength of players, the amount of wear and tear on a body. I mean, hell, Jordan, by the time Kevin Sullivan, dude feels like he's been around for 10 years and he's not even played. Like, it feels like he's a veteran on the Philadelphia Union, but he's not even featured in games. But it's just because it just and soccer's always been worse, right? Like soccer's always had younger kids. Like this is like 16-year-olds Freddie Adu, like guys being anointed the next big thing, where I don't feel like it's necessarily that way in other sports. So, but I mean, it's just, this seems to be coming to a head in all sorts of different sports. So I'm interested to see what the consequences are. And I think we're starting to see that when we talk about the NBA playoffs and all the injuries that happen. I think we'll start to see that in other sports as well.
Can you hear me at least?
Yeah.
Okay. Kind of like screen was slowing down.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Leagues Cup, I feel like you have to pick a lane here. You either have to change up the All-Star game, which we're going to pivot to shortly, or you have to get rid of Leagues Cup. And the reason why I'm saying is it feels like at this point we're getting to a point where we're going to the well a little too much for Liga Meki's MLS face-offs. I feel like it made sense the first year because you're like, oh, look, we're going to go into the All-Star game and then we're taking a break. And to kick off Leagues Cup, we're going to face off against Liga Meki's clubs.
Yeah.
Liga Meki's All-Stars. And you're like, all right, cool. That's pretty cool. But now, like, that you're going to be playing these midweek and the rest of the season's going on, you're not stopping anymore. It's, to me, a point of maybe we should just like, if you want to keep Leagues Cup, that's probably what they would choose because it's a bigger moneymaker than All-Star game. Then go back to playing somebody else in the All-Star game or do East versus West because now we actually have enough players and teams to make good sides against each one. You'd be able to have like a next year like Thomas Müller versus Lionel Messi and you know what I'm saying? Because you would have enough space for all the stars that this league is. I think you'd be able to market new stars that are not just your Euro players. And you wouldn't have to make subs 30 minutes in or 15 minutes in like they do. You would be able to showcase every single star instead. Now, does that draw a crowd? That's another question, right? But maybe lower tickets. Maybe put them in strongholds like Portland, like Philly, like Seattle, that are really big soccer towns now, or like areas that sell out consistently, and Atlanta, stuff like that. And have East versus West. I don't know. Like I feel like that's the next evolution we have here. So I want to pivot to the All-Star game because Leagues Cup just started. We just went over where they're at. We're both kind of meh on it. So let's go over to the All-Star game. One of the first years I've not watched the skills competition, and you know why? Because they had that speed guy there. I'm not watching that. And I saw another writer say the same thing, and I was like, I am just getting, I guess, very boomerish in my 30s.
No.
I'm like, I don't know who this celebrity is. I'm not watching this.
No. What is this guy? This guy's one of them social media people.
How dare he? That's the thing. Like, you'll be scrolling on like Twitter and they're like, happy 30th birthday to this person. I'm like, never heard of this guy. Who is this guy?
Yeah. Sketch scores a goal. I'm so confused as to what a sketch is. But
yeah.
No, like I get it. I get Jordan. We're in this really weird spot where, like, honestly, Jordan, I think the extinction of All-Star games are coming. I really do. Like, I feel baseball is the only one that really has an allure. I don't know why. Like, I still feel like people do tune into baseball. I think because it's hard to kind of take your foot off the pedal during baseball. Whereas in like soccer and basketball, you can take your foot off the pedal and exhibition it, where if you do that in baseball, it can get dangerous. Like if you're throwing lollipops up there for guys to just smash I mean, you can run into some issues. So I think that's why MLB and home run derby, as much as people always were like, they're always trying to change it, make it better. I still think it's a lot of fun to watch those guys hit a bunch of home runs.
Yeah, but what I will agree with is that they're starting to go back this way, but this is almost like a extra innings baseball shows back. All right. Because,
yes, baby.
The main issue I have with the home run derby right now is when they do the timed stuff and you can't even watch the home runs at all. They're like,
yeah,
bam, bam.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I want to see where they go and be like,
right.
oh my
That's
God,
the best
that's
part about
far.
it. Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
When they have like a certain number of outs, which they did like a hybrid of this year, that's more fun because you can like, all right, you can watch the home runs leave and then not be worried about like the pitcher's getting ready to crank another pitch.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. I mean, the baseball all-star game, and that's probably from when we grew up in the 90s, is the one that matters. Right? And they fixed it this year by making them wear their actual uniforms instead of the all-star uniforms again. It was great. And felt like I watched it. Yeah. I watched it, right? Like I watched the all-star game and I watched the home run derby and I watched Schwarber win the all-star game on a home run derby swing off at the end of at the end of the all-star game. So with the all-star game here, Messi didn't play. And I will agree with, I think, Jonathan Tannenwald here, where it was the issue with this, for me, is not that he didn't play, really. It's, if he would have just told them the day before, he wouldn't have gotten suspended. There would have been they would have been able to name a replacement player, and then it would have been fine. So maybe the way he handled it, with it being like day of, being like, I'm not going to do this. But the blow up I was seeing on social media from the hardcore MLS fans, which I usually consider myself one of, was kind of mind boggling to me because I felt like you couldn't pay me to care about him skipping this game. You couldn't. This game, like you said, does not mean the same thing to me that like the All-Star baseball game does, where I think I would have probably came around, like on the baseball side of it, I probably would have been like, oh, that was not a great move. Why does this person not want to play in the baseball All-Star game?
Yeah.
But MLS All-Star game, especially with it being against Liga MX All-Stars for the 100th time in the last 5 years, and it's pretty much an exhibition game. There's no history to it. I've been to the All-Star Skills Challenge. I've been to the All-Star Game. But maybe I would have cared in my 20s. Like, I feel like if Beckham would have skipped one when I was 20-something, I would have been like, oh, that's terrible. But, like, I guess because I'm 34 and don't care anymore, I'm like, yeah, he skipped it. Big deal. Yeah. Like, I don't know. I think the issue is more of that you don't get the replacement player that can get their moment to shine, I think is my biggest issue with it. But on the other side of it, like I started seeing people be like, is like really ragging on him. Friend of the show, Fabian, was asking at that point was saying that Zlatan had a bigger impact on MLS than Messi. No, I'm sorry. Even if Messi skips the next 5 All-Star games, Zlatan only played, 2 seasons here and never played in the playoffs because the Galaxy couldn't make it. He had great goals. He was great for LA Galaxy, but not the sort of impact that Messi had on the fans. The casual people don't know who Zlatan is. He wasn't selling out arenas. I just thought that was kind of silly how fast people were kind of how much people were freaking out about it, I guess.
You know what's funny? If you go anywhere, Jordan, in Florida, when you mentioned that about Zlatan, like if you go anywhere in Florida, you no longer see. You used to see Messi, PSG, and Barcelona kits. Or I would say every single person you see walking around here in Florida that have a Messi kit on, it's the pink Miami.
Yeah,
it means so much to the. I think because he has such a following from South America, because of that's their boy. Like that is their guy. That's their country's hero, and a lot of them live in the United States. and a lot of them have family who have come here from South America, from Argentina, from the islands, who grew up that those were the games that they could see, were the Messi games. It was in Spanish. They could watch it. There is such a huge following of Lionel Messi here in the state of Florida that all you have to do is come down. I mean, there is, you go to any sporting goods store, Jordan, there aren't Orlando City kits.
Nope.
It's Lionel Messi kits. It's pink.
Yeah, I mean, I went on a Royal Caribbean cruise, and there was people with Messi jerseys, but also they were selling them in the store because they are a sponsor. But it's like, you know, so even if people were interested, they'd be going there. You're right. I even see the pink Messi jerseys around me in the middle of nowhere. You know, like that's the sort of impact. Yeah, I don't see people wearing Zlatan Galaxy shirts like that.
No, I couldn't tell you the last time I saw Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
It would have been an AC Milan jersey. I've seen an AC Milan jersey of him or something, but like
too, I think,
that's it. You know, and it would have been probably in Florida where there's just tons of people around. But I can go to like an Orioles game and there's a Miami Messi jersey. You know, like I can go to where was I recently? I think I was at like, I was still around this area, but I think I was at like a mall or some sort of, you know, store where like two kids wearing their Miami kits with Messi on the back. My nephew has one, you know, like that. It is everywhere. So I think people are going a little overboard. There's always been this sentiment, I think, of the diehard MLS fans that think he is stealing the spotlight from their clubs, from their things, or they feel like Garber is bending the rules for them. These players were suspended. They didn't have to. So there was no conspiracy there. But you know, it's just, I don't know. It was like, all right, it's an all-star game. If he sat out MLS Cup, I would be like, all right, this is kind of ridiculous. But, you know, you're sitting out a meaningless game. He's like 37, 38 years old. I'm getting up there. I understand what that's like. You don't have it every day, you know? So, and they're about to go into Leagues Cup, which, whatever. That's probably means more.
Did you see Garber's comment?
No.
It's 100%. I don't want to make this guy mad because of how much he's meant for the league. Like it was so his statement says, unfortunately, or sorry, I know Lionel Messi loves this league. I don't think there's a player or anyone who has done more for Major League Soccer than Messi. I fully understand, respect, and admire his commitment to enter Miami, and I respect his decision. Unfortunately, we have a long-standing policy regarding participation in the All-Star game, and we had to enforce it. It was a very difficult decision. That said, we're going to take a hard look at the policy moving forward. I'm committed to working with our players to determine how that rule should evolve. Basically, I'm sorry, Lionel, we got to do it, man. It's in the rules, and like you can't be above the rules, but also don't be mad at us. Like don't be mad. Don't leave. Like don't go anywhere. Like I'm sorry. Do you know how many commissioners would have come out and said like no, like we have strict rules and it's not above any player. Like
do you know how many would get in the face of one of their MVP players in their clubhouse?
In the clubhouse, yes.
Like
talking about contracts. Certain Philadelphia baseball player.
Yes,
for instance. Yeah. Which, come on, let's be honest. Bryce Harper's never been the most calm and collected person. I think people
you don't think he's very level-headed?
No, I think people forget how crazy he was at the beginning of his career.
Look, here's the thing, too, okay? Hopefully, everything goes well with MLS and everything, because guess what? In the next year or two, there's going to be a prime opening for viewership because there's going to be a huge lockout in Major League Baseball.
They probably won't even play.
They're not going to play that season, most likely, it sounds like. So I guess MLS, make sure you're trying to poach those people. Right. But no, like, you know, I think that's the right way to handle it from Garber, honestly. It's like, and I do think they should look at this rule. I don't really understand why it must be a suspension to if you sit out this game. I just don't really. Other than like that you stole a spot from somebody and couldn't
Yeah.
let them do the replacement. But I would maybe just make a rule that you can't, that the last time to decide is the night before. And then if you don't decide, then you have to play. I don't know.
Or Garber calls Messi and goes, "Your ankle hurts, right?" Yeah, it hurts. I can't play.
Exactly.
So replace me. That's all you have to do. That's what most people do in all the other sports. Yeah,
Right.
I rolled an ankle. I can't go. I'll be there, but I can't go. I can't play.
Right. So I mean, like that to me is the crux of the issue. I do think they should fix it. I do think they should look at it and maybe make a different rule. I just think when you're also talking about how crowded the schedule is, like you've been, Logan, playing that meaningless all-star game when you're gearing up for Leagues Cup, and you also have
Postseason run.
Miami still has makeup games. They haven't played everything. And they also got to do Leagues Cup, and they're going to be having more makeup games probably because of Leagues Cup. It's like big deal, right? I mean, he probably could have went out there and played 15 minutes, got subbed out, whatever. But I don't know. I feel like that would be even cheaper, honestly. Just like, oh, I showed up for 10 minutes, take me out. I don't know. That's where I stand. I really couldn't care less. I don't care who sits out the All-Star game at this point.
I'm for getting rid of all All-Star games. I really am. I don't care to watch them. Baseball is the only one that I will actually watch.
That is same. That is the one I will never want them to remove.
Yeah. But Pro Bowl, like at least they made Pro Bowl kind of like a carnival. Like you want to go watch them do fun.
I haven't watched it since they did that.
It's pretty fascinating. So. Like it's pretty funny. I will say it's weird watching them play flag football. But
what about the NBA one? Because they did that weird like captain stuff for a while, right?
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like the dunk competition. Honestly, my favorite's the 3-point shooting contest. That's fun.
Okay.
But like you could do that virtually. Hell, put them all in their own gyms. Skype in. It makes the city a lot of money. It does. I get All-Star games.
You want to make it so boring. It's like, just Skype yourself.
Just Skype it in. Let's just get on Zoom. Get on Stream.
Doing a 3-point in an empty arena. Go ahead.
Oh, fine. Yeah, go nuts. Like, come on. Just tally it up. I mean, hell. Like, I don't know. It's just they've never done All-Star games right. They don't do it in Premier League. They don't. So
yeah. Well,
why?
That's because it's a very American thing.
It is because you know what it is. It's money.
Well, they're actually looking at. I think the EPL said they were looking at implementing one. So we'll see if they follow that now.
Don't you dare! Don't do it, EPL.
Because they have so many. They have so many American owners now, where they're like, you know what? Maybe we should bring some of that stuff over here.
Yeah, you know what they need over there? Like a Super League.
What if we had a closed system like we do in America?
I will say, like, Jordan, I've never had a day where I was just so disappointed in a sport than I did that day. Like, I was physically like, that's sick. Like, you guys are sick. And I really did. I was like, man, like, I'm this close to being like,
that's funny. That's funny. So, like steroid stuff didn't get you that way.
I was Jordan. I was like 10. I mean, you're a little older than me. So you remember it more. Like you're a dinosaur.
I remember. I guess it was on Sports Center or something, but I definitely remember being like locked in to the like locked in as a kid in my room with the TV on, staring at them doing the congressional
trials. Yeah. See, I wasn't old enough to care.
I was like steroids are terrible.
Yeah, I wasn't old enough to care. And like, I mean, it was everybody's, right? Everybody's favorite player at that point. Like every big home run hitter had it. Like, I mean, you go up and down each roster, they were doing it. So like, I mean, honestly, if they were all juicing, I guess so be it. But yeah, I don't know. Like I've never been more disappointed than, because this one was more greed. Baseball was more about performance and breaking records and things. Whereas this was more of like a cash grab.
Which sometimes steroids are as well, because they are, like I need to get my bag.
Endorsements, contracts. Yeah, exactly. That's a good point.
Yeah, because some of the players that get busted are not even like super great, but they're like even the
Barry
ones
Bonds.
today. I meant like the ones today.
You mean yeah.
That get busted. It's because they're still trying, like they want to beat out like the people on the edge of the roster and get money, get a
contract. It's never big names. It's like those second tier players usually,
except for like Tatis. Tatis was a big one.
Yeah,
but I'd say since then it's been a lot of like
Ryan
players.
Braun was the only one I remember besides Tatis, I think.
Yeah.
So I remember Braun got in trouble.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see how it all shakes out here for the All-Star game. I really hope next year is not against Liga Mekis. I think it's time to bury that, let the past die situation, as Kylo Ren would say. So I think that's where I kind of would prefer the All-Star game go. I would rather East versus West, showcase some of these players more, put it in locations where you think you can sell that. I don't know. I think that would work a lot better, but we'll see. I think soccer, it's very hard to do that because we just have continued to add so many competitions that it is getting to the point of, I think that might be another reason why I'm down on it now too, is like for a while it was like, we'd have like 32 league games or whatever, and then we'd have the All-Star game and we'd play against a big club and you're like, oh, this is how we can see how we measure up, whatever. Mm-hmm. It would just be fun. Now you have Leagues Cup in the middle of the season, an expanded CCC. You had the Club World Cup this summer. We have the Nations League now for the national teams. We have Gold Cup this summer. I think this summer is just kind of like, man, like it's too crowded. And then for some of these players that are jumping around in all comps, like Miami was in the Club World Cup, then they come over to Leagues Cup, and it's like, oh, but you have to make sure you play in that All-Star game. It's tough. It's really tough on all the players, and it gets the All-Star game's in the middle of the week. I know that's how it is for baseball too. I don't like that either, but it's in the middle of the week, and you're like, it is what it is, I guess. And again, going up against the Liga Mekis All-Stars for like the third time in 5 years, fourth time in 5 years, whatever it is. At least with every year, it'd be like, oh, we're playing Bayern this year. Oh, we're playing Arsenal this year. We're playing Chelsea. Like you would see different players. We're seeing the same players every year right now. Especially because some of the players that don't make the team are the players that are guaranteed to make the All-Star team are the big DPs every year. So you're seeing the same players every single season.
Yeah.
So some of the allure is gone there. Baseball, you'll have those couple players that are the starters that break through like that year. You're like, man, they're having an incredible year. Ryan O'Hearn, incredible year. All-Star game.
Who said that?
Me. I said that.
I said that.
What else? Oh, the Thomas Müller situation. So this is, it sounds like as of yesterday, Vancouver is going to be able to sign him. But there is a little bit of problems it was creating. He wanted to go to Vancouver. Vancouver wanted him. But we have this little thing called discovery rights. Ever heard of them? Where Cincinnati has seemingly discovered Thomas Müller about 5 to 10 years after the rest of the world did. And what that means is that they hold his rights to come to Major League Soccer. And if they didn't play ball, it could have been a potential issue. So Vancouver probably had to pay something. I don't think we know what it is yet, but they had to come to an agreement. This is still the stain on the MLS salary rules and the MLS stuff. I understand the original point of discovery rights. It is a funny name too, because again, they didn't discover Thomas Müller. He was, by the time Cincinnati entered this league, he was already a World Cup winner, right? Like they're not discovering.
He's up and coming.
Thomas Müller.
Yeah.
But it was a way to kind of be like, oh, we're good. But you shouldn't have been able to just file them for everybody in the world. That's so dumb. And it almost got in the way of where somebody wanted to go. And at this point, with how we have almost 30 teams in this league. There should not be this type of dumb mechanism that is arbitrarily going to decide where a player goes when they're a big name like this, because I'm sure MLS probably got on the phones to Cincinnati and said, back down.
Yeah.
Because we want Müller in the league, right? Like that.
We'll rig the draft for you. Back down.
Right.
Give him up. Vancouver's big market, Jordan. Did you freeze?
No.
Oh, you're still there. Okay.
I was just didn't know if you had anything else to say about it. But it's just insane.
It's wild to me. Like, again, Jordan, this league continues to get in its own way at times. And some of it's not even their own doing by like thinking and like being, what do you call that? When you
forward thinking?
Preemptive, like to be able to think ahead like that. Like, come on, this was going to be a problem at some point, and you haven't gotten rid of that stupid rule. Like, it is the dumbest rule in the world, because most of the time, Jordan, I mean, look at these players. Like, they're not going to their discovery rights play or teams most of the time, and they're picking destinations they think they want to live. Like, that's why the Italians went to Italy or to Canada, is they thought, Toronto, big city, Canada, like the city, like the team, like the vibes. Let's go there. And I think that's something that it has an advantage of. Like, yes, there's still that LA appeal and the Miami appeal, but Jordan, a lot of these guys are picking got guys picking like Minnesota, and now like you'll have Cincinnati and Columbus being picked on, like Vancouver. I mean, these are cities that normally these markets in other sports don't attract the big stars, but for some reason they do attract the European football players. And I think that's a big thing that I think MLS could capitalize on. But here we are still doing this this shenanigans. This was crazy to follow on X, like watching Bogert tweet all this stuff. I was like, what is happening?
And, this was not anything to deal with discovery rights, but Jermaine Jones pretty much had this to say. He said, this rule has to change. This is exactly what happened to me back in 2014. The Chicago Fire were the first to reach out, and we had an agreement. I was excited. Then suddenly I was told it wouldn't happen because the league and the Kraft family had a behind-the-scenes deal that the next men's national team player had to go to New England. When I pushed back, the league told Frankie Yallop and me, we'll make it look like a blind draw between Chicago and New England. But let's be honest, it was never a fair process from the beginning. The league had already decided I was going to the Revs. Players deserve transparency and the right to choose, not backroom deals.
I think the NFL should be on high alert. That's some sketchy stuff. Like, the Crafts did sketchy things, Jordan. It doesn't usually happen. I mean, they're usually pretty flawless in the things they do.
Yeah, they would never like deflate balls or anything.
Film practices or not them.
Very above board. This is wild. I don't know how much we can actually take it as. I don't know how legit it can be, but that was somebody there that it affected. I just wonder, like, would they actually tell Jermaine, like, we're gonna make it look like a blind draw? Wouldn't they just say we did a blind draw? You're going to New England, like, I don't know. But the fact is, even that if they did a blind draw, which is what they said they did, okay, even if they did that instead of rigging a blind draw, it's not where the player wanted to go, and that is the thing. And you're also to the detriment of one of your other clubs, one of your other owners. I don't know how this stood for so long, because Chicago had a deal. They were ready to do it. This is right after 2014's World Cup, where Jermaine Jones was instrumental in that World Cup for the U.S. men's national team. So you're landing a huge star. Chicago, by the way, the home of the men's national team, right? They have the U.S. soccer offices there. But then, and Klinsmann was living there, I believe, at the time, or like was commuting there, or whatever. But anyway, then you have, but we had promised the next men's national team player was going to, because that was the time where some of those guys were coming back.
Yeah.
And I guess they'd be like, hey, we want one in that market
Gibbs.
yeah, exactly. Kraft says he wants a men's national team player. Let's give him one. The next one. And it's like, well, I want him to go to Chicago. Too bad. So even if it played out exactly like he said, it's not great. Even if it played out the official way, it's not great. It's giving, you're removing the players, the player's choice. And that is one thing that has been holding this league back consistently. We used to have the allocation order, right? Which is probably partly what he's referring to as well, that there was an allocation order when somebody came in, they were supposed to go to that next team. So not even really like a backroom deal. That could have been a front room deal. I forget how his situation played out. There may have been an allocation order there. Even that, it's like, let the player choose where they want to go. It's just kind of crazy to think that, we've seen, like, Logan, since we've been alive, free agency has been a thing in the NFL. It's been a thing in Major League Baseball. It's been a thing in every single league, except for MLS. I actually remember the day they implemented free agency, and there's still very limited free agency. And the player power that they have outside of MLS.
Yeah.
And that's a thing that might work to the USL's advantage. It works to Europe's advantage tremendously, by the way.
Yeah.
Is that they can choose to leave, they can get out there, and then they have choices on where they're going. Well, we hear it all the time about players where the two clubs have the deal for a transfer, but the player doesn't agree to terms because they don't want to go, and they stay. Yeah. And MLS, you're shit out of luck, right?
You're stuck.
You're going to New England.
Yeah. Yeah.
So get it together. It's time to end that practice. It's silly. All right, what do we got coming up this weekend here? Where do we currently stand in the standings? Philadelphia is top of the East with 50 points. Cincinnati with 49. Nashville with 47. Columbus with 44. That is your top four. Miami is at 49 points. 42 points, sorry. 42 points. They have 3 games in hand, so they can certainly jump up the table there. Orlando's in 6 with 41. Charlotte in 7 with 38. NYCFC also with 38 in 8th. Chicago, the team that was ripped off of Jermaine Jones, is in 9th place with 35 points.
They're still reeling from it.
They are. They've never been right since. Yeah, Red Bull New York in 10th with 33 points. New England with 25 points, a big gap between 10 and 11 right now. Mm-hmm. And then Toronto with 21 points, Atlanta with 21, DC with 19, Montreal with 18. That's the East. In the West, San Diego, 46 points, Vancouver, 45, Minnesota, 44, Seattle, 38, Portland, 37, LA, 36, Austin, 33rd. And that's your non-wild card spots. Then in the wild card spots, we have RSL with 31, Rapids with 30. Outside of the playoffs looking in, San Jose with 29, Houston with 27, Dallas with 25, SKC with 24. And then St. Louis with 18, LA Galaxy with 16.
Solid stuff.
It's coming. It's coming along, right? Okay, so then we have the Leagues Cup games I mentioned earlier. Friday, we have NYCFC versus Club Leon. We have Columbus versus Puebla. Houston versus Mazatlan. We have Toluca versus Montreal. LAFC versus Pachuca. Tigres versus San Diego. Saturday, we have. Do we not have any MLS games on Saturday? It's still leagues. Okay.
Leagues, yeah.
All Leagues Cup. I thought they said they were playing. I guess that's after phase 1. Okay. We have Orlando and Atlas, Miami, and Nakasa, Club America versus Miami. Versus Minnesota. Pumas versus Atlanta. RSL versus ASL. Portland versus Querétaro. Sunday, we have Cincy versus Juarez. Chivas versus Charlotte. Monterrey versus Red Bull. Colorado versus Tijuana. LA Galaxy versus Cruz Azul. And Seattle Santos Laguna. Then no games on Monday, and then we come back for Tuesday. I'm not going to preview all of those. We don't even have to do a game of the week because guess what? It's a Leagues Cup game. One of them is important. Okay. All right. We're done. A little bit earlier than I thought, but I felt like we got into the weeds with the topics we wanted to get into. Anything else from you before we head out?
I mean, I just think it. We didn't really say, but I think Thomas Müller, that signing in of itself
to Vancouver. What a cool place for him to go to.
Right, with Vite leaving, and you and I talked about this the last time we talked, was that was a huge loss. Like, what are they going to do in that? And that's an answer. Thomas Müller is one of those guys, Jordan, that I just feel like he's going to succeed no matter what. He's not one of those guys that I feel like comes over and really kind of fades. Like, he's got the pedigree. Like, dude, his World Cup run when they won it, like he's been fantastic. I mean, it's been.
He's one of my favorite players. You know, I have German heritage, so when it comes to Euro teams, I like Germany when they're not playing the U.S. And Thomas Müller was one of those players that in like 20, I think it was the
2014 World Cup.
But I think he also played in 2010.
He did.
He played in 2010. He was very young. He was part of that core, like Mesut Ozil and young Thomas Müller and stuff. And that was a prime World Cup for me, 2010, because I was in college.
Roster.
I was in college and I had tons of time to just sit and watch. I worked a part-time job. Like, I was watching games all day when it came to 2010. And they were a very good team, and he was starting to look like he was going to break, Gerd Muller's record for how many goals in World Cups. He kind of slowed down near the end of his career, but he started hitting the ground running, scoring goals, very young, and then he was also playing on a really good, Bayern team, and he was just a lot of fun to watch. I'm really excited to see how he does here. I'm hoping he does better than Giroud, because Giroud was one of my favorite players too, and that kind of stunk seeing him not be able to, score goals here. But hopefully Müller can, and hopefully that kind of helps Vancouver. That could be a little push to get to maybe back up in the top of the West or something.
That roster, Jordan: Tony Cruz, Sammy Khedira, Sebastian Schweinsteiger, Jerome Boateng,
Chicago
Philip
FC,
Lahm, Mertesacker. Yeah, and what's funny is on ESPN's thing, it hasn't stopped keeping track of their age. And I was looking at,
you're like, man, that was an old.
I was like, why is he 46 years old? And it was like, oh, it's clearly not stopped keeping track of their ages, because I was like, man, these guys are like they're all 40. But that was a sick team though, because then in 2014 they won it all. Like that Germany, those Germany teams, woof. I liked watching them play too. That was a big coming onto the scene for Mesut Ozil.
Yeah,
Tony, and Thomas Müller. They were like the young breakout kids.
Yeah, it was great, man. So it's cool that he's in this league and that he is going to be. And going to a team that's not in Miami, not in LA, not in New York. I really like that he's going to Vancouver. I think that's really
good fit, I think, too.
I really want to go to Vancouver too, because they used to film like Smallville there, The Flash,
a lot
and
of
like tons
TV
of shows.
production. Yeah,
I want to do a tour there, and then I want to be able to see the like a Whitecaps game.
Yeah.
Because that's the best thing too, is like, I know I was watching Arrow sometime like a year or two ago, and they're, supposed to be in the US at Star City, and they're marching across this bridge, and you see Vancouver flags on the light poles, because you're like, yeah, Whitecaps, baby. Or you see like BC Place, and you're like, oh yeah, there it is.
What, were we watching something that had a Vancouver Whitecaps? You were
that's
watching
probably
something.
What it was. That's probably
you were watching
was.
something. You took a picture of it, and you're like, what in the world?
They did an episode of like The Flash too, where they were going around, like they were racing each other in BC Place, and I'm like, look at this. This is funny. So hysterical. Yeah. So that's really cool too for me. Yeah. Do you want to plug anything, Logan? Anything you got going on?
No.
No. Okay.
No, actually, started collecting some sports cards, Jordan. Cards Kingdom, follow me over there. I'm gonna start my journey. I think I'm gonna do TikTok. Like, it's easy to make. It's at home. Like, I'll go on the road some, but like, I think it'd be fun. I'm starting a TikTok, Instagram. Like, I've started card collecting again. Gonna get into soccer because they said that about right now MLS cards and World Cup cards. Because of World Cup coming up, they said that the soccer market next summer will be extremely hot at the National. So I'm gonna start looking into some soccer players. So if you got any young
cards,
well, send them my way.
Some MLS cards. I have some Euro cards.
They got some really cool MLS ones. The Messi Miami one, Jordan. I saw one that was a PSA 10 mint condition, and it went for $1,500. So he does have some appeal here in Miami, I guess.
Yeah,
changing the league.
Check how much a Zlatan Galaxy card is, and we'll compare who has the biggest impact. How about that?
That's how we'll figure. Zlatan Ibrahimovic, LA Galaxy. Zlatan, LA Galaxy. There's one that's $140. That's crazy. It doesn't look like there was much of a market for him. $140. Lionel Messi.
There you go. That's who has the biggest impact then. Messi. There you go.
Oh, it's far and away. Lionel.
All right. Well, that'll wrap us up at Stateside Show on all of our social medias. Make sure you follow us there. Though I haven't been as active on there because I just feel like it's people yelling at each other over inane topics. I'd rather do the yelling here and direct it towards you and the listener.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. At Stateside Show on all of our social media. Thank you all for watching and listening along. We'll catch you next time.